Hello, welcome back to the channel, or if you're listening in on the podcast, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about how to know when God is shifting you from one season to a new season, because a lot of times we stay too long in one season because we're not aware that God is saying, okay, I don't need you here anymore. You've learned what you need to learn and you need to move into this new season to take the skills that you've learned in this season into the new one. Or sometimes he's just shifting you because you've been self-sufficient and you haven't been depending on him, and he's saying, this is not where I want you to be, this is where I want you to be. Let me just say, and I'm still in Africa, I'm actually right back now in Ghana, and when I got back I got sick and it kind of took away my voice. I'm going to try to make it through this video and share our topic for today. What I want to establish here is when you're in a relationship with Christ and you walking with him on a daily basis, meaning you're praying every day, you're reading your word every day, you're doing Bible studies every day, you're engaging in fastings, the voice of God is usually clearer. Most times when we say God is silent, it's because flesh is totally in control. Because when you're praying every day, you're reading your Bible, you're doing Bible study, and you're setting time aside to fast, your spirit man becomes fed. And once your spirit man is fed, that's the part of you that's going to respond better to the Spirit of God. And so it's easy for you to hear him. If you're not in that space, because we all know sometimes we get off, life happens, things change, and sometimes we get to this place where we're not hearing clear from God. That simply just means that we've been out of his presence in terms of inviting him on a regular basis in our lives. And so when that happens, the flesh is in control, and so we barely can understand when God is the one directing us. The reason why I bring this to your attention is because this makes it better for you to know when God is moving you in a different direction or is moving you from a previous season into something new. Because if you cannot hear the voice of God because you don't have that closeness with him, or your spirit man is not connected to his spirit, then of course you're going to remain in seasons longer than you're supposed to be there, because you're not hearing that direct connection is no longer there. It's kind of sketchy, or is kind of blurred out, and so you cannot hear from him clearly, and so you're sticking in seasons where he's trying to pull you out of, and he's probably saying, look, what I brought you here to teach you, you've already learned the lessons that I brought you here to teach you, and now I'm moving you into something new. But then we get stuck in the old season because we're not sure. Another reason why I brought this to your attention to really be in alignment with God on a daily basis, to be able to clearly hear his voice, is because if you can't hear his voice clearly, sometimes when things starts to go dead in a season, or the path becomes blurry, you tend to assume the devil is the one in control and he's causing you and blocking you and stopping you, and that is the reason why things are not falling in line like they used to fall in line. Whereas if you're hearing from God clearly, he may just be the one trying to block that area, so you're no longer comfortable there because he's now moving you into something new. And I'll share this experience. God was trying to move me from the direction of the fashion brand. I don't think he's trying to tell me to not do fashion anymore, but he's presenting it to me in a whole different light. He's making me realize that my talent is not supposed to be forced. I'm supposed to sit in the deep and share what I create, what I design, from a place of ease. And he also brought me into a space where the things I create has to mirror modesty. I've already done that shit. But I'm sharing this with you because sometimes we sit in seasons too long because we assume the enemy is the one fighting us, when in fact it is God trying to push us and move us into something new. The next way God shows up, in this space, is he makes it very unfulfilling. In this era that you might have been totally fulfilled in, you enjoyed it, it brought joy to your soul, for some odd reason it's not doing that for you anymore. And so you're holding on and thinking, maybe I'm just overworked, or maybe I'm just stressed, and that's the reason why it's not making sense anymore. Chances are God is probably saying, look, I have to make this uncomfortable here, because in order for me to push you into the direction I need to take you, I need to make this not enjoyable anymore. I have to put you in a place where you cannot connect with it anymore. And so you're in this state of confusion sometimes because you're like, this used to make me so happy. This used to bring me so much joy, but I'm not finding any satisfaction in it anymore. Sometimes God is the one doing this. Another way he might be also letting you know that this season is no longer serving your purpose that he has for you. If it was attached to your finances, somehow you're not making any money in that area. He dries everything up. Money is not coming from any direction, no matter how you flip it, no matter how you might change the product that you're selling or the services that you offer. For some odd reason, people are not attracted to it anymore, and therefore you're not bringing in any money. And when that starts to happen, chances are God is trying to remove you from that space because it's no longer necessary for the new journey or the new path that he's going to put you on. So when these things are happening in a particular season, it is time for you to seek his face if you're not sure that he's trying to move you into a new direction, and spend time. This is the time I would recommend spending some time in prayer and fasting. Even if you're on a path where you're talking to God on a daily basis, okay, you're reading your word, you're doing all that, and you're fasting. However, when you are in this space of confusion, where you're not sure that this is the will of God to pull you out of this old season into something new, I will highly recommend that you find time to fast and pray about it. This period of fasting and prayer should be strictly 100% directed or dedicated to you seeking his face concerning this season that you're in, where you're struggling or where you're having unfulfillment or where money is no longer coming in or where you're just kind of confused. This is the time to set everything aside and seek him diligently. And by doing so, you're able to lift your spirit to commune with him and get clear indication on what his plans are for you. Another thing I wanted to share with you is that when you're in this space or this time of confusion, you have well-meaning people around you and you like them to join you in prayer, I want you to keep one thing in the back of your mind, that this journey is your journey and it's only going to line up with you. I'm not saying you should not go to people, well-meaning people who you pray with to, tell them what you're going through or to get clarity. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, even if you do that, make sure whatever they share with you, you take it back to God and let God confirm it. And the reason why I bring this up to you is because when I was in this situation as well, struggling to figure out if God was leading me down this new path or this shift that he was causing in my life was actually from him, because I was not 100% sure. I did reach out to a couple of people who I do pray with and I trust, and they have no ill will towards anything that I'm doing. However, the direction they were coming from, they felt like there was the enemy fighting me. They felt like the enemy was attacking me, and that's why things was happening the way they were happening in my business, and that was not from God. But that's not what my spirit was feeling. That's not what God was unfolding around me. He kept letting me know that, Vanjie, I'm pulling you into this season. So you want to make sure that you are not misled by things you gather from people around you who are well-meaning people, because you have to understand that these people are also operating in the flesh, and sometimes the flesh can intervene in prayer time or whatever the case may be, and you don't know what their prayer life may be. You don't know what their communication with God might be. Though it might be good, but you might not know in what season they're in, how clear they're hearing from God and all that. So you still need to take it back to God and let God give you confirmation, because even though they were thinking that way, because in their mind they felt like, okay, she's now fully surrendered to God, the enemy is fighting her, he's trying to take her business away from her, so that's why he's causing all these problems and confusion. But that's not what I was getting from the time I would fast or the time I would read the word. Everything that I was getting was lining up to God saying, I'm shifting you out of this season. This is old now. I'm taking you somewhere new. But I had to let God confirm whatever they were sharing with me, that they felt God was speaking to them. Okay, sometimes it's just the flesh speaking, because we do live in a fleshly body, and sometimes depending on where we are spiritually, our flesh might not be in tune with what the Spirit of God wants us to do. Now, what I was also saying is that as you're moving into this new season, there is this thing of ease that God puts you on. I don't know how to explain it. Words cannot really explain this. It's almost like, nothing seems too clear. where God is taking you in this new season, and you can clearly see the old season because you've lived there for a while and you know how it operates. For some reason, this new space he's taking you into gives you more comfort and gives you more ease, whereas the place you were familiar with is making you uncomfortable, that being there no longer feels right. And I'm not talking about feeling in terms of only the emotional part. There is something really spiritual about it that taps into the emotions. I let you know that, yeah, you may not see the clear picture yet, but there is a float of peace and comfort that comes with it when it's being led by God. When it's the enemy, you experience condemnation, you experience guilt, you experience shame. You have those things going into the new season. That's not from God. He's not going to guilt you. He's not going to condemn you while pulling you into a new season. He will usher you in with love, with kindness, with a surety, even though you don't see the full picture. Because isn't it like God doesn't give you the full detail, like I said? He gives you bits and pieces, but it's your trust in him that makes it all beautiful. Because when you look back and you see several steps or several seasons that you've been through, you can look back and say, it had to be God. And that's what he truly wants. And when you can experience that time and time and time again, you get to know who he is. You get to know how he speaks. And you get to know how he leads you into every area of your life. He wants a relationship to walk with you in the process from season to season. But anyway, I want to say thank you for sticking to the end of this video and enjoy the topic for the day. Please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps you to share the video with more people. Also, if you enjoy topics like these, go ahead and consider subscribing. We'd love to have you here. If you're listening in on the podcast, I want to say thank you for sticking to the end of this discussion today. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.